I'll, let's begin. It is Monday, June 10th, 2024, 7:30 p.m., and I am calling this meeting of the Needham Design Review Board to order. I am the meeting chair, Steve Dornbush, and I would like to confirm that all members and applicants are present and can be heard. Members, when I call your name, please respond. Steve Dornbush, I'm here. Mark Blusing, not here. Susan Opton,
Present.
Felix Zemmel.
Present.
Also attending our town staff person, Elisa Lichman. Applicants on the agenda, please respond with your name that you are here. Gary McCoy, Buoyant Signs representing CVS. Paul Sahagian, if pronounced properly, of Learning Express, and Joe Foley, Dorchester Awnings, representing Learning Express.
They may be in as attendees right now with their hands up, so we'll have to see what they're asking.
And Scott Melching, architect representing Needham Garden Center.
Scott Melching is here, and Garrett Graham, the owner of the Garden Center, is also as a attendee at the moment.
And David Becker, owner of Sweet Basil Restaurant on Great Plain Ave.
He's expected later.
Right, okay. Introduction. Welcome to this open meeting of the Needham Design Review Board, which is being conducted remotely, consistent with state orders. The orders allow public bodies to meet entirely remotely, so long as reasonable public access is afforded, so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, the Needham Design Review Board is convening by Zoom app as posted on the town's website. The DRB page, identifying how the public may join. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. All supporting materials that have been provided to members of this board are available on the town website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. Be aware that other people may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer unless the chair approves. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. I would like to review the remote meeting procedures for tonight's meeting. I will introduce each applicant on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will take comments or questions from the DRB members. After discussion, each vote will be by roll call vote. The building department requires electronic submission of building permit applications. A copy of your application stamped and noted for the type of approval that it receives will be emailed to you by DRB support staff. That can be attached, and that can be attached to your building permit application. I will now start with the first item on the agenda. And
We take these two questions first, just to be sure that I have everyone where they should be. Okay. All right. We're allowing you to talk, whoever the Zoom user guest is.
Hi, this is Gary McCoy from Buoyant Sign Company.
Great.
I'm first on the agenda.
Thank you. Okay. I'm going to upgrade you, so hold on.
Thank you.
Okay. And let's just see this other one. Okay, Paul.
Yes, I don't know how Zoom works, so I'm here.
Good. I'm going to upgrade you to a panelist as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. To proceed, the first applicant is Gary McCoy from Buoyant Signs representing CVS located at 986 Great Plain Avenue. They're applying for signage. Would you like to present? Can you share your screen, Elisa? Or can you do it, Gary?
I cannot, I am on the phone, actually. But it looks like it's up.
It's up.
So if you can scroll down a couple more pages, you'll see, it's a pretty simple, request. We have two building signs, one on the front and one on the rear currently that have the old CVS logo. The existing signs are 22 inches high, and under 32 square feet. And we're proposing to change those with the new logo, which is 21 inches high, also falls below the 32 square foot allowance. So there's one on the front, there's one on the back. The signs are of the same construction methodology and same type of illumination as the existing signs, not any brighter or any different. It's just a new logo, and we'll be repairing the facade as needed, so the store looks nice when we're done.
Okay. Comments and questions? Susan, we'll start with you.
I think it looks nice, and I don't really have any comments. I think it's better than what was there. And if the size seems right, and I think it looks much better. So my comment is short. I like it.
Great. Felix, comments and any questions?
So, yes, is there a way we can scroll to the front of the store one? And also, if we could, just because these are submitted as separate applications, can I make an administrative motion to hear them both at once instead of having two separate votes?
Yes. Well, they're both
Okay.
on.
So
Yeah.
they're both on the agenda, but so that we don't have to vote two times, I'm asking if we can just do it as one vote for both of the applications.
Yes.
I
Do I
generally
have
agree
to-
with what, yeah, if you could second that motion.
Okay, second the motion.
So Steve, can you
Yep.
call a roll call for that?
Yeah. Susan, do you approve?
Yes, I approve.
And Felix?
Yes.
Okay. We will discuss them together.
Thank you. So the one question I have is, I believe in the front of the store, they have another illuminated sign in the window, or like their ATM or something like that, but it's not really ATM, it's like a brand. I just wanted to know if that one is staying or not.
I have no knowledge of the ATM sign, and it's not part of our scope of work. So I would assume if it's there, it would be staying.
My question was more if that's going to put you over the 32 square foot limit or not. And to ask the board members who have been on longer whether they've got any issues with that.
On the exterior of the building, we're allowed 32 square feet. 2 square feet per linear foot of building frontage.
So what I'm saying is, will that illuminated sign that's in the window put you over or not is the question. And
No.
whether, because it's pre-existing. Okay. So with that in mind, who's making the motions tonight, Steve? I didn't see it in an email.
I'm sorry, you broke up at my end. What was
I'm
that?
moving the motions, and I guess you're seconding them, Felix.
Oh, yeah. Susan is going to move.
Thank you, Susan. So I don't have any other questions. I agree with Susan. that this is an upgrade in terms of aesthetics.
I don't have any questions. It's clean. It's within size. I assume any pre-existing signage had been approved. Since this is no different, I will assume that it's all good. So I would like to take a motion to approve as is.
I move the motion.
I second.
Okay. Subject to no changes, how would you vote, Susan?
I approve.
Felix?
Approve.
Okay.
Steve, you have to approve as well.
Oh, and I approve. Thank you. And I approve. So approved with no changes, no conditions.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Next on the agenda is Paul Sahagian. I hope I pronounced it close enough.
No, good pronunciation.
Okay. And for the Learning Express, new signage.
Yes.
Awnings and signage.
Yes. So, we're just basically replacing the existing the awnings that were there from the previous store, just changing the color to the navy and having the white letters on it. And I think there might be some pictures there, but the logo for Learning Express Toys and Gifts is the logo for the Learning Express franchise. So that was going to go on the main awning, which is right above the doors. Oh, by the way, I did fix all the holes and all the paint and all on the facade there, repainted everything, and it looked the same colors for what it was before. So I remember talking to Lisa about that. It's all nice and perfect now. You guys should take a look. And then the other, I guess the other awnings that we had there, same color. Dorchester Awnings had put the words like books, games, tweens on those awnings already, to set that up, just to show various things that I have in the store of, like, I have books instead of just being toys and games. So we're presenting that the main awning that says Learning Express Toys and Gifts in white on the blue is the main awning. So that kind of has to be there for the Learning Express with the logo. But I guess we're asking you if I can have the toys and books, the books, games, puzzles, and tween on the other little awnings that are on the sides of it. I don't know if you're familiar with the on how they were before.
Are you all set?
I have a picture
yes.
of how they were before, don't we?
I think so.
Yeah, there's a picture.
Lisa, is there a picture?
Yeah, it's the first one, I think.
Let me see.
But you have to zoom out to see that. You have to zoom out to like 25%.
Right.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Oh, those are blank. Oh, there's one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the main one that says Architrav now will say Learning Express Toys and Gifts, which is the Learning Express logo in white.
Well, okay. You all set?
Me, yes.
I think I'll go first with comments and questions. It's a lot of words, and the purpose of the signage is for identification. And we're very careful about promoting advertisements and so forth. I think I would be more comfortable with just the main awning, which, if you'd like to keep toys and gifts there, or remove the toys and gifts from the main awning and leave them on the smaller awnings. So either one or the other is how I'm looking at it, because otherwise it's a lot of words, and we try to avoid that.
Can I say, oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
The reason I got that idea from the awning across the street from me, which Sweet Boba has the, you know, the what they sell on the awnings. They have their phone number, which I would never put on the awning, but I saw it there and I figured it would kind of look cool, at least to tell people what we had in the store that are driving by.
To be honest, I'm not familiar with that awning, and it was before my time.
Oh,
And
okay.
it might have been something done without approval also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
but sorry.
That's okay.
You have a great store,
Thank you.
and I'm glad you're moving into a larger space.
Yes,
but
working
we
out
do
great.
try to avoid all the wording. So I would, of course, I want to hear from my colleagues, but I would propose so either or, keeping Learning Express toys and gifts, and removing, as I said, the awning words, or removing toys and gifts and just leaving them on the awnings. Susan?
If I could go last, I'd like to hear what Felix has to say.
Sure. Felix, would you please proceed?
Thank you for that. So I don't have as many issues with the toys and gifts and wording. I think that the spacing is actually aesthetically pleasing, but I would say if we were to do that, that I would like a condition in there of no sandwich board out front. Because the sandwich board takes up sidewalk space. It also isn't always the best aesthetic for the area. And I feel like if we're gonna have all that language up top, that we really don't need the additional sandwich board saying like fidget, the different stuff that you fidget headquarters or tween headquarters, because you're already addressing it on the awning. So I would say if we were to approve the awning, to put the condition of no sandwich board, except for maybe like special events, and we'd have to define that.
Well, if I could just jump in as chair, I could be mistaken, but I believe the sandwich board would have to get approval anyway. That it's considered signage, and there's specific bylaws about sandwich boards. So that would have to go through the process anyway. So, anyway.
So I'm not sure if it has in the past, and they historically have sandwich boards that are changed out regularly, and I think the business is great. I think that this signage is streamlined. I feel like it fits in with their branding with the other locations as well, and I don't think that the language is too obtrusive, because they're not doing any internal illumination or even really external illumination on these awnings. And the big portion of the awning is empty. These are the kind of front street facing sides. So I don't have as many issues with the wording, but the sandwich board is more where I have the issue.
Okay. Susan, are you ready for comments, questions?
I have a question, and that is there any plan for any signs or lettering to go on the windows?
No, no plan.
So without any signs or lettering on the windows, the words on the awnings, I don't have a problem with, and I actually think it sort of balances out. They seem awfully plain to me without words, but I do wonder if all of these equal a measurement of a sign that's too big. Do we have to sort of add all these together? Or are these like 5 signs? Does every awning equal a sign? Is my question to the board.
I'm sorry, what?
I think that the front portions of it, I don't think the full awning, because it's only the portions that have the lettering that would be the sign. And we would need to do the math on that.
I have to say, I'm a little concerned about the words on the awnings, because it's a slippery slope if we approve this right now.
Well, my
We can
my
consider.
question is, they're only allowed like one sign, right? And maybe a
Right.
second sign? And is each one of these a sign? So that would take care of your concern immediately, Steve. If
Right.
there are too many signs.
Well, that was the impression I was under.
Um,
That's why,
Well, so do you have the math already, or maybe we should kind of suggest a continuance till the next meeting so you can do the math and come back to us and potentially ask for a variance from the signs provision?
the
Given Susan's
dimensions are
point.
there. I saw some drawings with the,
it's
It's
not
up-
just the size, it's the number of words and. the
Yeah,
number of
it's
signs.
the
You
it's
only-
the total area, which I'm not gonna go, especially where I'm driving right now. I'm not gonna go and calculate the area on each one of those and the length of the sidewall there and figure it out. So, but given Susan's point, I think she has a really good point that these might be multiple signs and you might need a variance for that.
I think you would. I think they are considered extra signage.
It might require a special permit hearing because there's so many signs.
So many signs or so many words?
Well, each one is considered a sign once you put words on the
Got it.
awnings.
I would be uncomfortable.
And so it's a special permit hearing process, which is a little more involved, but it's been done many times. So
I would be uncomfortable, to be honest, approving it right now with the words on the awnings, because I do consider it other signage.
I can bring up a possible solution that if we all agree on the main awning,
We do.
he
Well,
could
we'll need to vote.
have his one sign, and then if he wants to come back with the other four, he can, but if he doesn't want to, I don't want to hold up the main sign.
hmm.
So the condition would be, we would approve the large sign, or we can vote on the large sign. And you can come back and ask for the others if he wants to. Did I hear you say that the awnings were already created with the words on them?
It's not my fault.
Sorry, my friends.
Yeah, it's not. It's the Dorchester awning people that don't listen.
They should
So-
know better. That's what they do. Well, I would like to take a motion to approve the keeping Learning Express toys and gifts on the primary awning, but the removal of, for now, of the words on the 4 other awnings. I'm not considering the sandwich board because I do know there are bylaws about that and it's not on the application right now. So it's not something to be dealt with. I think that's what I would like to take a motion to approve.
I move the motion.
They're basically approving the main awning with the condition of no type on the smaller awnings. Okay,
I'll second that.
and I'm good with it. So I'd like to now take a vote. Susan,
Approve.
Felix,
Approve.
And I approve. So I think that is taken care of.
Okay,
We're good.
awesome. I appreciate it, guys.
Good luck
Thank
with your new
you.
st- and good luck with your new store.
I
Thank you
love
for-
your store, by the way. It's
Oh,
very
thank you.
sentimental.
Yeah.
Come on,
Oh,
come
my
on. in.
my frequent flyer card is almost full.
Come on in anytime. Yeah, we're having a great time there. So yes, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
All right, you too. Take care now. Thank you.
All right, next, Scott Melching, architect representing Needham Garden Center. I know there's been some correspondence between you and the building inspector. So I'll let you go and please proceed.
Well, thank you, Felix, Steve, and Susan for taking the time this evening to hear our proposal. Elise has been a tremendous help in getting this to you guys, as we're in the middle of quite a construction project to bring you a hardware store in Needham, because we've all been missing one since Harvey's went under. Elisa, if I may ask, Garrett Graham, the owner, is in if you could raise him to panelist, I'm sure he'll want to weigh in. So just 2 seconds on our whole project. You know the Needham Garden Center as previously in the tenant of the rear half of 53 Chestnut Street. They are now taking over the front half of the building where Learning Express used to reside, and we're turning it into one continuous store. So no longer will the entrance be located off of Keith Place on the right-hand side, where you see in the lower left-hand image underneath the green awning. The new entry will be the 2 doors off of Chestnut Street that currently have, or at one point had, some kind of semi-spherical awnings on top. As part of the renovation and expansion to create a hardware and, well, I should say the Needham Garden and Hardware store, the owner has partnered with True Value Hardware. So the True Value brand will be the partner to bring the hardware portion of the business. So we are working with them on the store design as well as the signage. So some of the things you see here are a result of the owner's design and mine, and some are part of True Value's program that obviously they encourage us to use their brand. So that's what you'll be seeing in our proposal. There are 5 applications tonight in front of you. We have split them up into the first and second are in facade improvements, exterior alterations, and they do not deal with signage. So I believe, Elisa, if I'm correct, we can discuss those separately from the signage. Yeah. Okay. So the correspondence, Steve, you mentioned between the building inspector and I is on the signage portion. I am not aware that he had any objections or thoughts on the exterior facade improvement portion of the submission. So let's address the first one. On the left-hand side, if you can scroll back 1 image for me, please. There is a current kind of workshop area where the Needham Garden Center does tune-ups and repairs to either snowblowers, lawnmowers, any kind of yard equipment. And they have an overhead rolling door that is past its prime. That door we're proposing to replace with a wider door with a new, coil, everything up above in the ceiling, just replace it all. And we're proposing to add a light. Currently, there's no light over that door. So if you were to scroll down 2 slides, please, you'll see a comparison of the left-hand side, which is the current overhead door, with the proposed door on the right. The proposed door is the same height, however, it is 2 feet wider. The current building has that brick-looking facade, and I'll just share that that facade is not actual brick. That is what is called Brickmaster, which is a pressed, it forms what look like bricks, but it's just basically like a really hard cementitious material. So once you chip it, it's not like there's a brick behind there. So the moment we take off this opening, we're going to reclad from pilaster to pilaster with composite siding, which will make a nice clean look and it'll allow for a clean cut with the existing facade. So that is application number 1.
I'd like to take one application at a time.
Perfect.
If that's okay with you? That way we can then move on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you though. Anything else you would like to say about this application for this?
Not at all, just that, the light that we're proposing to go over the door is to light the area of the door. It's not going to shine out in the street. It's not going to shine on a neighbor. It's a full cutoff, directed down light fixture.
Okay, Felix, can I start with you? Any questions or comments?
Sure. So the Brickmaster, is that like an EFIS type product?
It is not foam based. It is cementitious based. So it is like it's like a one big brick that's just like pressed into it, and then it's colored a certain way to make it appear like brick. So once you chip it off, you just see the gray material behind it, which is also
Okay.
cementitious. Yep.
Okay. So I like the facade upgrades. The question I have with the lighting is what you're proposing, is that dark sky compliant lighting? And what is the purpose of providing the additional lighting where they've been there for so long without it? Are they planning on extending their service hours? What is the purpose what is the problem that this additional lighting is looking to fix?
So I'll answer the first part of the question, and I'll let Garrett respond to the second part. The first part is yes, it is dark sky compliant, as it is a downward facing fixture only. And my understanding is that the end of the day, when they are bringing materials in and out of this door in the winter months, obviously it gets dark before 5 o'clock, and they've always wanted a light. So that is my reason to propose a light. Garrett, if you'd like to jump in with anything else to answer that question, I'd be happy to hear. You're muted at the moment. Maybe he's good with my answer. Felix, does that respond to your question?
That does. Thank you. I didn't know I was giving time for Garrett to respond. Otherwise, I don't have any questions on the facade changes. I think that the facelift will be beneficial.
Okay, Susan, comments or questions?
I like the facelift as well. This is more of a comment, I guess, than maybe a mild concern, is that if you're not doing anything else to the rest of the building, does the facelift just make the rest of the building look worse?
No comment.
Scope creep, I guess. We're trying to stay away from scope creep.
Okay.
That was my only comment. I like the light. The door is nice. It's all good.
Okay, and I don't have any questions as is. So I would like to take a motion to approve.
Move the motion.
A second, someone?
Second.
Now I'd like, subject to no changes or conditions, I'd like to take a vote. Susan,
Approve.
Felix,
Approve.
and I approve. Okay,
Thank you very much.
okay, one done.
Excellent. We're on a roll. Let's keep it going. Application number 2 is also a facade improvement application, and this deals with the facade along Chestnut Street. So I believe if we go, yes, this is an elevational drawing of the front of the store as it is. So previously this was the Learning Center store. As you can see, it has the Brickmaster facade from side to side, top to bottom. It has some kind of plastic shutters that had been attached at one point to the left and right of some of the windows. It has 2 doors with awnings, it has a light, and it has a fire alarm bell. To improve this facade, we are proposing a couple of things, and I'll just bring note of it on this drawing before we roll to the next one. That please note that Each door is in a different location, each window is in a different location, and each window is a different size. None of these things are things we created, but we are trying to work with them. Because as we note before, we can only comment on the things we're allowed to comment on. So I am responding to what is on this building. And I think we've got a nice solution to add some awnings that cleans up the facade and makes it a more approachable store. So if you can scroll down to the next image, please. What we propose to do is to add 4 awnings. These awnings would be located symmetrically in the center of the building. So the Brickmaster pilasters that are on the edges of the taller portion of the building, we put 2 awnings, one to the left of it, one to the right of it. And we do it such that it covers the windows, so that the awning on the left-hand side matches the one on the right, even though the windows are different. I'm trying to add symmetry to this project. And I find that this solution then sets up a language for the awnings on the outside, because those are floating directly above the windows. And again, those windows are different sizes, but I think the awnings should be the same size so that they provide a clear organization to this facade. As part of the awnings, we're proposing 6 lights, and these lights would be the gooseneck lights that would be meant only to light the awnings. These are dark sky compliant. They point downward and toward the building. They would not point off the building or into the street or anywhere else. They'd point just at the awnings. So together, I think there's one more for this, if I'm not mistaken, Lisa. There's an enlarged drawing. So you can see this is the awning directly above the left entry door. So you can see, the dimensions got washed out. That's really weird. Well, they're 5'6" tall. You can see it in the section, and they come only 14 inches off the building. So they don't go terribly far because the building is very close to the property line. And they are meant to add color and organization and reinforce the brand of Needham Garden Hardware. So that is our proposal is 4 awnings and 6 lights to clean up the front of 53 Chestnut Street.
Okay. Thank you. I can go first on this one. I like it. I like the color. I like what you did for balance. It makes sense. And so I don't have any questions regarding the lighting or the awnings for myself. Susan?
I will just ditto what you just said.
Felix? Comments? Questions?
So if they're not going to be upgrading the Brickmaster facade, then I think that the awnings do that facade justice and add a bit of the aesthetic to it. I think a lot of the businesses around the corner up on Great Plain have the awnings, and they're multicolored. I think it ties it into the downtown area, and I think it eliminates the kind of bank look, kind of asymmetric look, as was said that it currently has with the current kind of door and window layouts. I think this adds a little bit of design to it, and also takes away from some of the blah of the Brickmaster.
Okay. I would now like to take a motion to approve.
I move the motion.
As some, excuse me, approved as submitted.
I
I'll
move the
second.
motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Subject to, as is, I'd like to take a vote. Susan,
Approve.
Felix,
Approve.
and I approve. As submitted. Okay.
Oh, thank you all. We're doing great. 2 for 2. Let's keep going.
Yeah, okay. Now
It looks like Garrett has his hand raised. So I'm going to allow him to talk. Go ahead.
Good. I'm back. somehow had a privacy setting wrong and then it kicked me out of the meeting, but I think you,
Sorry.
so I'm back, I'm paying attention. I missed the vote on the first one, but I just figured out that it got approved, so. If you need me, I'm listening and I can now talk.
Excellent.
That is all for now.
All right, application number 3. So this is the first of 3 signage applications that were included with this for this evening. Now, we have had a back and forth with the building commissioner, and he and I and the owner differ on a couple of opinions here. So I think the best thing to do here is to ask for your feedback on these 3 issues so that we can continue these items in discussions to find a way toward an approval. So we welcome your feedback, and I'll walk you through our rationale, and then we can go from there. So if you go all the way back to the beginning, the location slide for just 1 second, please, Elisa.
Mhm.
The Needham Garden and Hardware Center is.
Oh my God.
Nope,
Sorry.
not quite that far.
I don't know what's going on. Hold on.
You're getting close, yeah.
There we go. I'm using a laptop, so it's acting out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So the current store has two signs that formerly indicated that the Learning Express and the Needham Garden Center shared this building. One was located on the right-hand side of the upper slide. Yeah, you can see it in elevation, correct, on the 2 sides there. And my understanding is the reason we were allowed 2 signs is because we have 2 frontages, one being Chestnut Street and one being Keith Place. So that gave essentially 2 primary signs. The building inspector commissioner has reviewed this, and he thinks that's only 1 frontage is allowed. So my first application was to replace the current 2 signs with the new Needham and Garden Hardware sign, with the understanding that I could have done 2 signs because I had 2 frontages. But again, he differs in that opinion. So if you go down to the, I think it's application number 3, you'll see the proposed new sign. So the current sign is on the left-hand side there. It used to be split for the rear tenant, which was the Needham Garden and Hardware, and the front tenant, which was Learning Express. We're proposing to replace that with a new vinyl sign on the same metal background that's the same height and same size. And it will clearly state Needham Garden and True Value Hardware. There's our True Value partner. First time we're seeing their name. And this would be the same for both sides. And this would be a straight replacement. There would be no change in dimension of the sign. The light fixture will be repaired and replaced in kind, so it could be illuminated. It is not internally illuminated, it's just a metal pan. So again, our plan was just to replace this sign as it is with a new graphic.
So you're just talking about this specific sign right now?
Yes, application number 3 was to replace the sign on the left side of the building and the right side of the building with the same sign you're seeing right here. Just
So on the left, what's on the left side?
the left side is the photo on the screen there. That's what's currently there. And we'd be replacing it with the Needham Garden and True Value Hardware sign.
Okay. And the size, I believe it has to be within 22 square feet?
So we are 22 square feet for this sign, yes, and that's the existing sign. We're just replacing the graphic.
And the size for the other sign?
Exactly the same.
I cannot override the building commissioner. If this is considered a second sign, it needs to be a little bit smaller as a second sign. That's not my role.
I understand.
As of now, that second sign is the same size?
Because they currently exist as they are the same size. I'm not proposing to make one bigger or one smaller. I'm just proposing to replace them. So my understanding, and Garrett can speak to this, is that the reason this got approved in the previous incarnation is that there were 2 frontages. And that's how they were allowed to have these two signs. But our new building inspector does not see it the way we see it. So
Right.
I understand, Steve, what you're saying. I'm just saying I got two signs that I just want to replace.
As a compromise, you could make the second sign 21 square feet, which would be smaller
Okay,
way of getting a sign. Trying to work with you.
I understand. I appreciate that.
But going first here with comments and questions, I am under the impression from the building inspector, which I have to respect, that he considers these two, well, you understand, as one. So the second one would have to be smaller. So, and that would be a special permit. If you want to keep them both the same size, you'll have to come back, I believe, for a special permit to do that.
Understood.
So is the ration, sorry to interrupt, kind of speak out of term, but we're kind of on this building inspector interpretation. Do you mind if I chime in for a second, Steve?
Of course not.
So I know we try to speak in turns, but since we're on this vein, is the rationale of the two frontages because it was on that, for lack of a better term, paper street or private way, one of them, and one of them was on Chestnut? Like, what was the rationale for the two frontages previously? Because I heard you mention that your entrance on such and such street is going away, but is that an actual street? Is it a private way? Is it a public way? Is it a paper street? What is that? And is that kind of the source of this two frontages argument?
So I guess I'm probably the best one to speak to that, is that when you search it in the Needham GIS system, it shows up as a street. So it doesn't, I don't know what that's called. When you look at the assessor's map, it's there as a street. So that's my understanding of it. But I'd have to defer to others to say exactly what it is, as I am just a building architect, not a lawyer, to determine that exact terminology. Is that a fair thing to say?
So that's a fair
Felix,
thing
can
to
I
say.
speak for a second?
Yes. So, well,
I think
comments.
I
Susan.
heard somebody say that the garden center was in the back of the building and the Learning Express was in the front of the building. So I think you would have had to have two signs. You can't, but now it's one business in one building. So I think that probably has more to do with it being one sign than two frontages, because the doors were in different places and now the entrance is in the front of the building. There is no side entrance. So that's the way I'm interpreting the two signs for two different businesses with two different doors on two different sides of the building, versus now you have one business with one entrance in the front.
Excuse me for interrupting. Question, isn't that an entrance on the right-hand side staying?
It
Yes.
is.
Isn't that like a service entrance or something?
No, I think it's correct me, please. Is it, I thought you're gonna have two, like you have the entrances in the front, which right there, and then on the right-hand side where there is currently an entrance for the garden shop, that is also gonna remain an entrance.
That
Yes,
is
that
correct.
is our intention. Yes.
Oh, I thought you said that you were eliminating that entrance and just leaving the one on Chestnut.
So his main entrance will now be on Chestnut Street. The door on the back right where door displays, that is still the lawn care portion, and he has exterior frontage there to put plants and to sell items. So that door would still remain. It would no longer be the front door.
Okay. Felix, any other questions or comments?
Do you know if this determination is being appealed to the zoning board of appeals about the two frontages?
So the building inspector notified me of his thoughts about 4 o'clock today. So
Okay,
I
so
let,
you haven't had a chance to talk, because obviously our action is different if it's one frontage or two frontages. and the special permit requirement potentially. What I'm wondering is, would you maybe be amenable and the board be amenable to continuing this for another date, so that you can figure out the frontages thing and potentially file with the ZBA to determine that, because then our course of action is a little bit more clear.
So I think that's all the option we have, if I'm being honest. At this point is to collect your feedback on this so that when we go to the next step, whether it be the special permit, we have your thoughts. So I'd be happy to continue this, just because we need to chase down this fact.
Well, then I'm going to take a motion to move the motion that this is to continue down the road, and that we will hear, I would like to hear more from the building inspector, and if need be, a special permit down the road. So,
Does Garrett have another question? I see his hand up, so
Oh.
before
Oh.
we,
I do not. Do I have to?
okay, you have to put your hand down.
Oh.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
I just didn't want to miss something.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Scott had asked for some feedback, and I was just wanting to, I know you're replacing a sign, and then it looks like you're putting a film in the bottom of one window.
So
that's separate. That's
Is
another.
that a separate
application.
application?
That's a different application, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Which,
Well,
just my comment, by the way, sorry, Susan. Why I think sort of kicking the can down the road and special permit, why it might be a good idea is it's really, really helpful, having done a few of these now, to see the big picture so that you know what's going to get approved, what's not going to get approved, because it kind of affects other decisions also for signage. So I'm just throwing this out that you might want to consider, holding back also on the door signs or anything also for special permit, because there's some questions about that also. And also, that way you can see the big picture. Also the projected sign, the blade sign. I know there was a question about for the other applications, for size, because it had to be within 3 square feet, and this was like within 4 square feet.
So my question, my question back to Joe was, do I put the box for the projecting sign tight to the letters? Because if I do it tight to the letters, it's 3 square feet. But if it's the whole thing, it's the whole arm, then it's 4 square feet. And if that's the answer, then we can reduce the size. That's no problem. We measured in a circle. We should have measured in a square. That's our fault.
Okay. So if yes, you would have to measure the full circle to fall within the 3 square feet, a square around that. So my math isn't very good off the top of my head. So that would be what, like a little under 1 3/4 or something. I don't know.
So 1'8" diameter would get us there instead of 2 foot.
Yeah.
So if, again, because we're in a fact finding.
I didn't want to jump ahead here. We're jumping ahead. So we can talk about that. Let's go back to, I was just commenting about what's best for you and what would be helpful.
Steve, are you suggesting we rescind our approval of the first 2 signs until he figures it all out?
That's what I was suggesting, but I'd be willing to look at the projected sign with the with the condition that it falls within the 3 square feet. But you also have,
So what's,
Let's first of all, let's go back to the one we're at. I'm sort of jumping ahead here because I was trying to look at the big picture. Back to the number 3, the third application. That I would like to take a motion that, as I said, that we sort of, I guess, table it for now, or that we move it to have you work it out with the building inspector, and that we have more information and come back with a special permit if needed for that. I'd like to take a motion for that. Susan?
I move the motion?
Just to be clear, this is a motion to continue it.
Yes.
Okay, I'll second that motion to continue.
And now approval, Susan,
Approve?
Felix,
Approve.
and I approve.
This is for the application number 3, which is for these 2 signs, one on the north side, one on the south side, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And Scott, I think you just need to connect with the building inspector. We sort of need our marching orders. That's how I look at it.
I understand that the effort was made, but the schedules apparently didn't connect, so we're where we are. We'll move forward with that plan.
Okay. Now, application number 4, please.
So application number 4 is the new logo of the Garden and Hardware, Needham Garden and Hardware would be placed 3 signs on the doors. So we have these 2 existing doors on the front of the Chestnut Street, as well as the door to remain in the back. Currently, the main entrance to the current store that will now become the secondary entrance to the lawn care area, just to add a 2 foot tall circle, which is the new logo for the store, on the door in a clear fashion, so you can see right through it. Again, this is we're rebranding the store. Garrett's very excited about the new name and the new logo, and just wants to put it on the doors. And when I met with Mark Glusing in our pre-meeting to all this, he didn't see a reason for this. He didn't have a feeling, and said, go ahead and submit it and see what people say. So we're submitting it to get some feedback.
Okay. I do notice, I'll go first. Again, you have 2 feet that would have to be within 3 square feet.
Understood.
So with that condition, and also just asking building address, do you want to put Chestnut Street under there? That's up to you. I'm just noticing, I'm just throwing it out. How do you like that? I'm adding something to it.
Love it. So I agree, instead of measuring the circle, I would prescribe that into a square and meet the 3 square foot requirement.
And I'm just asking, I know that this is just, like photoshopped in under store hours. Would that all be centered? So it's kind of like flush right now, and it's kind of a little jagged.
The intention would be to line up the hours so they're easy to compare to one another together.
Okay. Okay, because I know these are rough, because the 9 to 4 is a little bit off. Okay, yeah. Okay. Susan, any comments or questions?
I do have a question. This is a glass door?
It is.
I thought signage, would that be considered a window, Steve? Because I thought they could only have 25% of the window with a sign in it.
Point well taken.
Other
I'm
than
not
that,
sure.
I think it looks fine.
I don't have an answer for that one.
I mean, it is a door, but I think there's a regulation about 25% of your window cannot have,
That is part of it.
and since the door is glass, I don't know if that's considered a window.
So the glass area is roughly 18.5 square feet. It's a 7-foot wide by 3-foot wide door. So there's 18 square feet of glazing.
So I think you could have 3 feet of the logo. And you might have to squash, I don't know, the size of the hours. I think you could make it work if that was,
Felix?
So is this going on both of those doors, or actually all 3 doors, or is just the left door?
Ideally, we'd like it on all 3 doors. I just produced one enlargement to kind of show what it looks like on the door, but it would be on the door here, which is the current entry to the Needham Garden Center. This will be the lawn care area in the future, and then it's on the front doors of the, if you go,
Oh, right there.
yeah, this is a rendering from our True Value partners. So they tried to kind of put the logos on the glass, but they didn't come out quite right. If I may
Do
say
we have
so.
another one? I think we have another one. No.
Be on
No,
the-
that was helpful. So I think that the regulation says door, says window. And even though there's glazing, it is a fenestration. I think that it doesn't classify as a window by the layman's term of a window. So I'm not sure that 25% kicks in for this. And I would somewhat feel that it's a door and not fall under the window requirement.
where is the
point
address?
of-
Oh,
Where's the building address?
It's going to be on the bottom of the window.
That's
what-
it? That's the sole place for it?
So I think each of these windows is going to have it, from what I understood. And Steve is recommending adding in the word Chestnut onto it. Or Chestnut Street.
I think it looks nice. It doesn't, I like it. I like the logo.
Any other comments or questions right now?
We're just giving feedback, right? Or are we voting on this?
Well, we will, I think Scott would like us to vote on it, and I think we should be able to.
But as you mentioned, how, doesn't this all fit into a whole picture of
Well,
sizes and things?
I did mention that, this is, Scott, this is gonna be your decision, but if that's ends up being considered signage, it might affect what you have planned down the road also. As far
So,
as gender and size.
I appreciate the feedback, Susan and Steve and Felix. I think Garrett and I spoke before this meeting, and I believe we're okay with the fact that you would be providing feedback, and that we'd be coming back to you because of this, making sure we're on the same page with the building inspector. We think is important, obviously, to be doing this the right way. So we're happy to do that if that is what we collectively feel is the best. So we're okay with that strategy. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Okay, so right now then, this is just for discussion and information gathering. Okay. Then that being the case, I would like to take a motion to move that this is basically to be continued along with application number 3.
I move the motion.
Second, Felix?
Second, I apologize. It took me a second to unmute.
Okay. I'd like to vote. Susan?
Approve.
Felix?
Approve.
And I approve for this application to be continued down the road, along with application number 3. And
All right. Lastly, I'll move quickly through number 5. Now, this was the discussion about the projecting sign. So under the guise that my math was incorrect and that the square needs to be triumph over the circle, the size of this would be 1'8" by 1'8", kind of in diameter, square in diameter. This would be projecting off the face of the building between the awnings. So if you could scroll back up to the facade with the awnings on it, I'll show you the location. Yes, you can see it in that one. So off the brick pilaster to the right of the entry, there would be that sign. So it would be in between, it'd be visible, and project over the sidewalk.
So I'll go first with a couple questions. I believe it needs to be 4 feet from the wall and at least 8 feet high. So I'll assume it meets those requirements. And also, the awnings are fairly flat, so the awnings don't get in the way. Is that correct?
Correct. There may be a 3D perspective at the bottom, Elisa. It just may, I think, no, maybe it's up a little higher. Our partners at True Value did provide a view of this. I'm trying to see where they might have put it. Yeah, there
I
it is.
saw it on this one right here.
Yeah, you
It's
can
on
see
the
it.
right there.
Yeah, I see it.
Yep, it does go past the awnings.
Okay. I'm just going to ask now, are you looking to have this one approved or voted on, or do you want to continue with the other, with application 3 and 4? We'll still continue discussing it if you'd like for feedback. You don't have to answer now. You want to wait until you hear more?
If you don't mind.
Okay. Felix, any questions so Scott can make a decision?
So will this be internally illuminated?
No.
No, so no lighting on it. Looking at that isometric drawing, it just feels out of place a little bit. The sign, like looking at it, the one that your True Value partners put together, it doesn't fit. I feel like you're trying to do it so that it's as of right, meeting the size requirements and projection requirements and everything, and I appreciate that. But I just feel like it's becoming crowded with all of the awnings, with the multiple signs that are being proposed. I feel like it's going to be very crowded at that point.
Susan?
Starting to get confused about, can we look at some of where is the front of the building is with the 2 glass doors, right? And
Correct.
that's all right. So none of those awnings have the name of the business on it, right? The main sign is on the right side or the left side? It's on the left side, right, where the service doors are.
Both one on the left and one on the right to replace the existing signs, yes.
Oh, I see. So they're on opposite sides of the building. And we're asking, but one might be smaller than the other, maybe. And then you have, we haven't discussed the window sign. Those are like a sticker or something?
So the proposal that's not included here would be to have 2 foot by 2 foot, or sorry, 2 square feet total, decal on the glass with a gray kind of translucent band at the bottom of the window. That's a little more opaque than we would ever have it, but that just was intended to be a secondary signage band, not a main sign. My understanding was 2 square feet was as of right, but that I may have been misled on that, so that's why that is not in this presentation. or for, I'm sorry, not for approval.
That's going to be continued also because I think there's some questions with the building inspector. So,
Correct.
not to interrupt you, Susan, but I'm where you're going with that is there's nothing to me that says entrance. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why
Okay.
the main signs are on the, because that's where people park or something.
And where people drive by as well. Because this is directly across the street from that real estate, sorry to interrupt, with that real estate agency that we just approved, and kind of catty corner-ish from the exit from the parking lot from the municipal lot. So there's really no street facing. So having the signs on the two ends are how people know kind of what's there, because they don't really have that benefit when driving down Chestnut, because there isn't any street parking on Chestnut. And it's just, but they have the signs on, they plan on having the signs on the doors and these small ones on the windows. I just feel like it's getting cluttered with this additional one.
Well, aesthetically, regulation wise, I mean, this is just feedback. I'm going in the opposite direction, which is not, we wouldn't permit it, but I feel like if they should have two of the little round ones, one on each side, because everything is so symmetrical and there's only one. So either add one or take one away, I sort of feel like.
Well, that would be a separate permit. That's not. This,
We've got a lot of separate permits going on here.
well, that's why, I'm used to looking at big pictures. And that's why this is strictly my suggestion that this should also be kicked the can down the road, as I like to say.
I do, yeah.
So you
Can
can
I
look at
interrupt you,
all.
Steve, for a minute? I have one big feedback as somebody who's lived in Needham and hang around this building all the time. And I used to go here a lot when it was Learning Express. And I would always wander around those two big awnings, wondering how to get in and where was the front. And I guess this describes the front of the building, but there are a lot of cars that pass by, and I feel like people are getting stuck in what this building was and not what it's becoming. Because this, to me, is the front of the building, and it doesn't really say so. And I think people are used to going in on the sides, so they're putting all the signage on the sides, but that's kind of my big picture feedback. I don't want to just, I feel like this is the front and it doesn't say that. It's sort of like when you're renovating something, you're stuck in what used to be there and how it used to be used. But if the whole thing is being converted into one building with two purposes or whatever, then why not make your statement on the front of the building? That's my feedback.
Well,
Appreciate that.
I concur, actually. Scott,
I think that's a good point, Susan. I didn't even really think about that.
very good point. Scott, do you have a feeling either way? Would you like us to put this to a vote, or would you like to also wait?
Like, Scott, can I just say, what if you combined the two front awnings and made one big awning? And put a sign on the awning that this was Needham Garden and Hardware. Just a thought. I'm just.
I appreciate all the comments this evening. I'll tell you, we didn't arrive at this as the only option. We arrived at this after looking at quite a few things that have been discussed here, specifically the visibility to people traversing Chestnut Street. The sign facing Chestnut Street on that facade just didn't seem like people could see it. To identify the business if they're driving past, just because you're right up against it. There's not a parking lane. There isn't a perspective people can get to see a sign. So we've looked at a lot of options, and I'm very grateful for this conversation. We're going to take this feedback and we're going to put a full application in for a special permit, it sounds like, and come back with our signage plan in its entirety for you to comment on officially.
So I'm correct, then you're comfortable, okay. So I would like to take a motion to move application number 5 as submitted to be continued down the road, to be submitted along with the others as a special permit.
I move the motion.
Felix,
I second it. Sorry again.
no,
Trying to get Zoom to cooperate.
then I would like to take a vote. Felix,
Approve.
Susan,
Approve.
and I approve to be continued with special permit down the road. Okay,
Thank you all for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Bye, Garrett.
Bye. See you guys.
Can I
soon.
just say something? So the awning that's currently over the current door to the garden center, this one, was not part of the 4 awnings that have been approved as submitted.
It was on one of the ones that's continued.
Well,
I don't
that's what
think so.
I'm sort of
I
getting
don't-
clarification. I thought that all awnings are considered the facade change, so I guess I would have clustered them with these awnings. But maybe I'm wrong.
So the discussion with Dorchester Awning was to provide a quote for the 4 in the front and the recladding of the one on the side. So
Okay.
there is a quote being generated for that now. They haven't fabricated anything yet.
Okay.
So
Does
So
that-
you're not really, we're not really having this board review it today.
So it's not part of application number 2 awnings. Is that correct, if I'm understanding it?
So Lisa, we added this after I filled out the applications, correct? At your suggestion. So I'm unclear where it landed as well, because I filled out the applications first, then I added this sheet later. So
Well, the board could add it to the facade change approval for the 4 awnings and 6 lights that you already have approved.
I'm fine with that.
If that's what it is, if it's approval with conditions of some sort, then that's a separate, then it's really a separate awning approval.
I'd have no conditions if you would like to include that, and we'll take a vote, of course.
I think that'd be great if you could include it, because that, like I said, that's one vendor providing all of that for us. And the only reason we're changing it is because the logo has a new color in it. So that's the reason.
So I would like to take a motion to include the awning on the side to be included with application number 2.
With no conditions.
With no conditions,
Approved as submitted.
as submitted.
Okay.
And I move that motion.
I'll second it.
And vote, Susan,
Approve.
Felix,
Approve.
and I approve.
Thank you very much.
You're
I'll be in
welcome.
touch.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Look forward to shopping there.
Thank you.
All right,
Hey,
and Mr. Let's see, do we have David Becker here?
yes, we do.
Yes, I
Yeah.
see his name.
Hi, guys. Can you hear
Hello.
me?
Yep,
That is actually really good news. I feel like everybody laments the loss of Harvey's Hardware, and if there's another hardware store right there, that's pretty great.
Mhm.
Okay,
I was thinking that the whole time. I wanted to say something, but couldn't. Sorry.
it is convenient.
Yeah. It's like you need light bulbs and you have to go.
every town needs a hardware store.
It's true. And a bookstore, which I think Needham doesn't have. Unless you-
Not anymore.
And I'd like to hear from Mr. Dave Becker now.
Yes, yeah, sorry.
Besides-
Kind of have the Needham General Store that sort of that has a not terrible selection of books and board games.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Where's the Needham General Store?
It's on
On
Great Plain Avenue, right near, part of Dunkin' Donuts, near Hersey train station, across the street.
Oh, wow.
they have actually like not that bad a selection of books and a lot of really good board games and random tchotchke stuff.
That's great. Board games.
All right,
Um,
so let us hear from Mr. Becker.
So what I'm hoping to do, and I know I'm a little late to the party, is do the patio that I've done in the past few years, and then and it was just kind of I had the permit ready to go last spring, and then since Little Spoon opened up, we had to alter it because they have their patio, which I don't know if you guys approve of what they did, but it was really cool. Their umbrellas look neat. I don't know. I
They're
looked at
they're coming to our board. They haven't come yet.
Oh. Anyway, well, I won't tell you guys what to think then.
I actually just went over there earlier this evening because another hat I wear is on the Commission on Disabilities, and we had a
Okay.
complaint that it was too narrow for a person in a wheelchair to get by, and it was like 3 inches too narrow, and I talked to one of the people there, and he said you just move the planter and the pole those couple inches so that they can address it.
Okay. But yeah, so I was hoping to get some input and approval, hopefully, for the Jersey barriers that were out in front, and then line the sidewalk with kind of heavy bottom planters and I forget what it's called, but it's like a removable a retractable velvet rope, but have it just be kind of what they have at the movie theaters. And then maybe try to keep my plants alive and make it nice out there. And I wasn't sure what I need to do to make you guys happy.
Your food makes us happy.
All right, that's a good start.
This is a good place to start here. I can go first on this one with just quick questions. The Jersey barriers. I'm trying to remember what you had there before. Are they the same ones? Are they painted? Or what do they look like?
They're painted, and I told them to do purple and green and turquoise and pansy themed.
Oh, good.
I was like thinking it's like a built-in conversation starter for Needham.
And a question: the ramp that it says temporary there.
Yeah.
What's is that to go over the curb, or I'm just?
I think to like line it flush with the curb, and I believe that they sell them at Granger and or Uline, and I'm not sure, but I haven't purchased anything yet.
Okay.
Just I've kind of like one baby steps, one thing at a time, but and we haven't had one of those before. So that'll be the first.
I'm
the first.
assuming, I think it's, I could be mistaken, I think it's 4 feet that we need clearance on the sidewalk, that as long, the, there's 4 feet. for
Yeah, I
clearance
think
to walk
it
through.
says it accounts for 5 feet at its most narrow.
Yeah, I see that right there, yeah. I think it would be an addition to downtown Needham. I like it.
Okay.
Felix, do you have any questions?
So how many parking spaces? Oh, it says right there, it's 2 parking spaces.
Yeah.
This question is half in jest.
Sure.
And then followed up with a more serious question. Are you going to be making these Jersey barriers in your pottery studio? Or are you
Oh,
just
come on. Yeah.
somewhere?
I actually just started that up again recently. I felt like it was a missing part of my life. But Jersey barriers, so these are owned by, this is changing the subject, but Jersey barriers are owned by the town of Needham, and they're really cheap to buy. But why they're so expensive is they're expensive to move and store.
Oh,
So if you wanted to purchase them for your house, they're like, I don't know, $120 or something crazy. But to move them is really expensive, and then to stack them and store them. Anyway, so I learned that because I was like, why don't we just get some? Like, yeah. But
Yeah.
well, I appreciate, yeah.
So there's a group that came in front of us, I believe it was last month. I'm blanking on the name of the group. That's a local arts collaborative that has done a bunch of murals all over town. And they just did the planters and the ceramics for the planters over at in the municipal lot right by your location.
excuse
And
me, that's the Needham Council for Arts and Culture.
yeah, have you reached out to them to maybe like do murals and stuff on this? Because I know they did a bunch of this kind of stuff by French Press as well, and some other parts of town. But it might be cool and add to it, and so
I
that
love
could
it.
be a conversation starter instead of
Yeah. And especially if it's kind of like, I don't know, contiguous through the town where it's like one, I think that would be great. I feel like yeah, these Jersey barriers, these specific ones are numbered, so they go in a line. And but they were decorated in the spring of 2020. And so they might actually be kind of beaten up, and they might be due for an updo. But yeah, I'll maybe if one of you guys could text me their contact, I would love that. I think that would be great. If there's a group of,
yeah.
I think that's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't
And
remember
I
the
think
name.
the way French Press looks, it's like it's unrecognizable from when they first opened. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, I've definitely partaken in the indoor and outdoor seating over the years at Sweet Basil, and I'm very much in support of this design. As long as you meet the accessibility pathway, which it looks like your tightest point was 5 feet. So I really have no issues with this at all. I think it provides more ability for people to enjoy your food.
Wonderful. Susan?
I noticed the date on this is March 2023. Is this existing furniture? You're just,
So I've had to pretty much purchase new furniture every year. It's just over the time of rain and and then moving it around, it just kind of gets beaten up. So I still haven't purchased it. I might look and see what is salvageable, and I feel like a lot of it's the same. But if you what I'd like to do, thinking right now, is tablecloths and black furniture, and it just looks slick, and then it'll kind of hide the car exhaust and pollen better. So if you
this
change,
is not the furniture that you're proposing to use.
the same brand. It's let me see. I'm looking on the drawings now. Let me see the I haven't purchased them yet, but these are pretty much a lot of what you'll see around restaurants because they're restaurant, they stack. They carry a lot of weight, you know, but they're not heavy themselves. But I'm open to I think you guys, you know, if you have any input about what I get, I haven't
Well, I was gonna say, I love this color theme. I don't know if it matches something you're already doing, but,
No.
I mean, you know, black is always safe, but everybody does black, so I don't know. I like to see color on the street. I think it's kind of vibrant and adds life.
Okay.
When everybody does something a little different, and I think this is a beautiful colorway, so that's
Okay.
just my 2 cents.
All right.
Excuse me, I just gotta jump in. If I agree with that, it's nice, but if you do change it according to the rules, the picture needs to be an exact image of what you're planning on doing.
Okay. Why don't I do that then? I will adhere to the rules and your opinion. I mean that. No, it's like I agree. It looks nice. All right. Brown it is.
Okay.
If I suffered from any indecision before, I don't any longer.
Okay, so I'd like to take a motion to move the motion.
I move the motion.
Felix
I'm seconding it.
and excuse me, move the motion as submitted. To vote on it, Felix,
Approve. Sorry, I was unmuting again. Approve.
Susan,
Approve.
and I approve as submitted.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
If I ever do anything that you guys don't like as far as taste level and appearance, just reach out. Like I will I'm all ears. You know? I mean that. Like
We'll drop a note in the message, in the suggestion box.
yeah. Do you need anything from me? Am I your last one too? So you guys are done for the night?
We have a few other things.
We still have to approve some our notes. and so forth.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and I'll hopefully I'll not let you guys down.
Thank you very much.
We'll be
Thank you, Dave.
sharing this approval with the planning department. So I'll be in touch with Alex.
Okay.
Dave, just so you know.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you,
Mhm.
guys. See ya. Bye.
And next on our list is, I would like to take a motion to review the minutes from our last meeting. Susan,
I move the motion.
To
Second.
approve?
and now I'd like to vote. Felix,
Can I back up 1 second? I
Approve.
think you
Sure.
said review the minutes. I think you
Oh,
mean
right.
approve the minutes.
approve, review and approve.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
move the motion.
So second again, and I vote to approve.
Okay. Approve, Susan,
Approve.
and I approve. And I think that's the last thing on our agenda.
Now it's just a motion to adjourn.
I would like to take a motion to adjourn.
I move the motion.
That was quick.
I'll second the motion. This is the longest meeting we've had in a couple of months.
It was a tough one, so it's good. Vote on it, Susan,
Approve.
Felix,
Approve.
and I approve. How'd I do, guys? I tried. We're not
You're
recording. right? We're done recording.
Not yet. Let me just
Oh,
take care of that.
that's okay. This is what you.